I get those goosebumps every time. I need the Heimlich, throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. When you
Greetings, technicians. This is Admin Crow here, your coach of the Toronto Star Raptors, bringing you the battle in another week of the PCL. This is week 5 for season 3, and we are taking on Coach Fury, aka BBT, aka the coach of the newly rebranded Desolated Earth Bladers. I believe that's his team name. And Fury has a really interesting record against me, and I believe all the matches have been pretty back and forth. So we finally get to play each other again in the PCL. And funny thing is, this time around, not only that we are in the same conference, but we are also in the same division. So let's see if the Raptors can bounce back after 2 weeks of losses in a row. So in this video, I'm just gonna hop into it right away and go over the turn-to-turn thought process and the and what exactly happened in the battle. And you guys can check out the team builder if you're interested. I actually brought some serious heat this week, so I will leave that in the link down in the description below as well. Feel free to do so. And yeah, let's just get started. So over here at team preview right away, he pretty much brought everything I expected. A no Kofag, which is really good, and his Slurpuff might be either Belly Drum or one of his favorite would be the Sticky Web set variant. So if he is a Sticky Web lead, I might have to go into my Cleft Key right away, and just to prevent his setup with my Reflect. But aside from that, I will just be going with my T-Tar lead. I do have a special setup T-Tar that can take advantage of a lot of his mons, and Nidoqueen is actually one of the mons that I designed this T-Tar for. So I'm actually just gonna go for the first turn D-Dance. He actually swapped out into his Rotom here, which pretty much just gives me a free D-Dance. I can see why he made that switch now looking back, simply because he probably expected rocks, and maybe he has defog on this Rotom. It is one of the more reliable defoggers on the entirety of his roster, and that's really good. I got D-Dance up, so I'm actually gonna stay in and go for another one. So because of my set or the nature of my EVs, I can guarantee myself live any hit from this Rotom, even if he's spec Hydro Pump. He has I guess pretty low chance to well, relatively it was in my favor to live even if he is spec Hydro Pump, which I don't expect him to be from the way that he switched into his Rotom. He's probably more of a bulky defensive pivot set type of set. So that's why I gone for the second D-Dance, and I also have Facade for his potential Will-O-Wisp. And if he does go for any type of Hydro Pump or Water type move, I can live it, and I will be able to trigger my weakness policy. So that was my idea there. He actually went for a Discharge that did 0 because I am T-Tar and it is in the stand. So I'm actually just gonna go for a Crunch right here. I do know that at this point at +2, I do already outspeed his Sharpedo without the +1. So over here I gone for Crunch. I don't know what type of roll that is. He actually lived on 2%, and I did get a defense drop. Obviously a defense drop mattered. No, it doesn't. And he's just gonna go for another Discharge and just be able to do a little bit damage to me, just to put me slightly less than 50%. But he doesn't get a para right here. It doesn't really matter, simply because if he did get the para the first time, I probably would have gone for a Facade instead of a Crunch the second time. So it would have done, I guess, same amount of damage, but I will be able to he will be able to ditch out the same amount of damage, because he probably outspeeds me the second turn, I would guess. But it depends on how much speed he had on that Rotom. I might just be able to outspeed it actually, simply because after 2 DD I'll be at +2, right? And the para from him will neutralize my speed. And depending on his speed, I might be able to go for a faster Facade regardless, and he will actually not be able to get off that second Discharge on me. So it didn't really matter in the long run, I don't think. but it does definitely affected the fact that he didn't get para on my T-tar. Definitely affected what his options are in terms of the mods that he can send in right here. He does go into his Finnish boy, the Sharpedo right here. It's probably going to just go for protect and be able to scout out what I have for him on my T-tar, and just be able to get a speed boost and outspeed my T-tar the following turn. I thought about going for a second Dragon Dance on his protect, but it's a little bit too risky. That's why I switched out here on my Klefki. And also, I think during the match itself, mistakenly, I think for some reason I saw his Sharpedo still faster than my T-tar. That's why I didn't want to stay in. And there was another reason I preserved my T-tar, simply because I still need to stand on the T-tar to benefit my Garchomp stand force, and I also need the stand chip to be able to get rid of the multi-scale on Dragonite. That was my idea there. So I'm actually going to go hard into my Proton Klefki here, expecting a protect. He actually went for Waterfall. So basically, the reason that he didn't go for protect here, even though it was his only play to be able to outspeed my T-tar and revenge kill it, was because he was predicting me to predict him to go for the protect, expecting me to go for Dragon Dance with my T-tar on his protect. That's why he didn't go for it. So actually that's a really good play on Fury's side for sure. He actually opted to go for the Waterfall instead of the Liquidation. I guess he is you know, valuing the 30% chance to flinch over the, well, I guess, was it 30% or 20% chance of flinch from Waterfall over the potential defense drop from Liquidation. So I do take that, I guess, relatively well with my Klefki. I do get a little bit more leftover recovers back, as I do go for a layer of Spike over the Reflect, simply because I do know that I take any hit from the Shark from the range that I was at, and I don't think the Shark was Life Orb either. That was pretty big, because it actually made a difference on our Earthquake damage. So I'll just be able to get off one layer of Spike right here. The Spike damage, the one layer of Spike actually came in super clutch later on. You guys will see it in a little bit as he goes hard into his Nidoqueen. So the way that he got into his Nidoqueen actually makes me think that his Nidoqueen, I think it's this following turn right here. So I do have a coverage move. No, I do have something for the Nidoqueen right here. As you can see, I do go for the Magnet Rise as he goes for Earth Power. So so on the following turn, I actually stayed in with my Klefki. Want to see if this Nidoqueen have any move to hit me with. So he actually switched out. So this makes me think that the Nidoqueen must be choice in some way. Most likely choice Scarf, because choice pack didn't make a lot of sense. And it does, if he's packing that Rock Slide on his Nidoqueen, it does check my Volcarona and my Nihilego pretty well. And just Earth Spam is so good in general, but because he's a choice in some way, he actually can't touch my Klefki. He was forced to switch. He actually went into his Sharpedo, and I'll just knock that thing out with a Play Rough. He probably didn't expect me to go for a Fairy type move on his Poison type. I almost put Psychic on my Klefki specifically for the Nidoqueen, but the reason I stayed in and got for my only attack, which is the Play Rough, was because I want to gauge again what type of Nidoqueen that is and see if the Nidoqueen has any coverage for me. But it's really good that he got into his Shark and just be able to sack it. Probably didn't expect me to go for a Fairy type move on his Poison type again. And now looking back, that was actually a pretty safe switch, simply because it's as Shark, he's immune. As a Dark type, he's immune to all my Prankster moves. So the only way that would have gone wrong was me going for a Fairy type move. And again, it's very unlikely that I go for a Fairy type move on his Poison type. But it was a no drawback play anyways. He covers all his switches as well. So I got a lot of information from that 2 turns over there, and I was being able to pick up the kill on his Sharpedo, so that was really good. So he actually got into his edgy boy, the Necrozma. Now this thing is a huge threat, so I have to be careful here, not letting it set up. That's why I went hard T-tar right here. So he's actually gonna bust out the knockoff, so that's really good. on his part. Just be able to get rid of my weakness policy. Damn, I really hope. I was really hoping for this set to put in the work, but of course, yeah. Yeah, from the range that I was at, I was actually be able to live a Earth's Power from Nido Queen if he's choice scarfed, and just be able to get off my weakness policy once again. But that's really unfortunate. Another reason I got into T-Tar right here is simply because one, I was expecting a potential heat wave. The way that he sent in Edgy Boy, it also covers the potential autonomized play if he's the weakness policy variant, and just be able to pressure him offensively with my crunch. So that was my idea there. And if I'm in with T-Tar against Necrozma, because he can potentially be weakness policy, I actually gone for a D-Dance first. From the range that he was at +1, my crunch guarantee knocks him out. That's why I gone for D-Dance, and I don't know how fast he was. That's why I gone for D-Dance as well. If he has a coverage for T-Tar, being a setup variant like Signal Beam or something, or even I believe he also gets access to X Scissor. So that was probably the best thing he can hit my T-Tar with, or Brick Break, I guess, but that would be kind of weird. I don't know if he actually gets Brick Break. Anyways, so my idea was I didn't want to trigger the weakness policy. That's why I was getting to +1 to ensure my KO. He actually gone for Stone Edge and missed, so I was really puzzled why he has Stone Edge on his Necrozma and why he gone for it. So this actually gives me a lot of information as well. So again, my T-Tar was being able to set up a free Dragon Dance for the second time in this match. The first one was also free, so that's very interesting there. But he did tell me during the match that it was specifically for Volcarona, or actually I think it might have been after the match was over. But so basically he was defensive Necrozma for Volcarona, so that's very interesting. And yeah, he's just gonna miss his Stone Edge right here. I'm just gonna be able to bust out a very free crunch right here. As you can see, actually did that Nido Queen took it pretty well after a spike, so he must have some HP investment on top of his speed. So he's just gonna be able to knock me out on the following turn, revealing that he's scarfed into Earth Power because he actually outspent my +1 Tyranitar. So I actually took pretty long to make this play. So the basic play would be going into, or the safer play would be going to my Proton Klefki and gone for a Magna Rise, as he probably will switch out, knowing that I already have already knowing that I have Magna Rise on my Klefki. But the reason I didn't make that play is because I don't get any momentum out of it, and it's too risky for me not to go for Magnemize. So Magnet Rise. So if I go into my keys, right, I will be pretty much forced to go into a go for my Magnet Rise move, and as he switches out, and this will give him momentum. And so that's something I don't really want, especially he still have 3 potential setup sweepers at the back, and of course I can go. It will be too risky for me to go for a play rough just to try to hit something coming in really hard with my Klefki, expecting him to switch out, expecting me to go for the Magna Rise, if that makes any sense. So I actually went to my Champo right here because I do know that I will take the Earth Power pretty well, knowing that he's locked into it. He won't be able to go for Ice Beam, and I actually Mega Evolve right here because I do outspeed the remaining members of his team in my Mega form as well. It gives me a little bit more bulk to take on the Earth Power. That's why I Megaed right there, and I also went for the Iron Head to be able to take advantage of my last turn of stand in case he wants to switch out, and I will be able to ditch a lot of damage to whatever comes in. He actually just stack his Nido Queen right there and be able to go into his Dragonite on the free switching. So I actually switched out of my Garchomp simply because I didn't want to hit this thing with a Iron Head. Sorry, I didn't want to hit this thing with a Dragon Claw. Obviously, he's immune to my Earthquake, and trigger his weakness policy as he goes for a Dragon Dance. So that would be super bad for me. He will be sitting at +3. So I think in hindsight I probably should have gone for Iron Head instead, just to break his potential his multi-scale before I go for the Dragon Claw, as he set up a +1. But either way, I will need to sack something before I go into my keys at that point. So I actually made an aggressive switching, well, I guess a more conservative switching into my keys, knowing that he'll probably go for Dragon Dance on this turn, as he does go for it right here. So over here, I'm still thinking that he might be weakness policy. I was still trying to play around that. So I'm just gonna set out Reflect, knowing that he'll probably go for second Dragon Dance since his scale still haven't been broken at this point. So I actually got back to full with my Proton Klefki. That actually came in super clutch later on in the game. You guys will see a little bit there later. The fact that I am actually at full with my keys. So I'm actually just gonna go hard into my Mizuaiko, the Manaphy right here, knowing that he'll probably go for Earthquake, and I can take that pretty well. He's not gonna lock himself into Outrage, knowing that I still have a Klefki at the back, and Earthquake is the best thing he can potentially have for my Klefki. That was my idea there, and I did some calc. If I do go for a Tail Glow right here, I'll be able to take the Earthquake and be able to knock him out on the following turn. So if he locks himself into Outrage, obviously I can just gain momentum back by going to my keys. So the Reflect pretty much neutralizes his output, and if he goes for Outrage right here, he actually put me in my Super Berry range, so I'll be able to eat up my berry and be able to knock him out on the following turn with a +3 Ice Beam just from full, kill him through his scale. That's why I did go for Tail Glow right here, but no, he actually busts out the Devastating Drake and be able to knock my Manaphy out in one hit. So that's actually really caught me off guard. I totally forgot the fact that he had Dragonium Z, because I was so caught up in the fact that he can potentially have weakness policy, and I was trying to play around that. You guys can see in the chat here, I was like, I thought you were weakness policy. I played myself again. Anyways, so I actually made a misplay here. I sent in him on top thinking that I have Intimidate, but I actually have Technician. But I was trying to make it up on the following turn here. Because the best move he's got to hit me with is probably a Dragon Stab, knowing that he's finally knowing that he's not weakness policy, I'm just gonna go hard into my Klefki, expecting a Dragon move, just pulling a double, trying to bait out his Dragon move right here. As you can see, he does have the Outrage, and plus the fact that he have Devastating Drake, it's more likely that he will have Outrage for the raw damage over Dragon Claw. That's why I was comfortable. I was feeling pretty comfortable going into my Klefki right here, knowing that he probably won't go for Earthquake on my him on top. So that was really good. On the following turn, right? So it was really difficult for me to play around the Dragon Knight, but I think he thinks that my Nihilego is Scarf. That's why he called GG super early. And it was still really difficult for me to play around that +2 Dragon Knight because my Reflect was wearing off as well. He actually swapped out into Slurpuff Pastry Boy, but it's a girl. Anyways, so that's really good for my part. I didn't have to deal with a +2 Dragon Knight anymore. So over here, yeah, he actually went hard into his Slurpuff on my Klefki, but that damage on the Slurpuff is super crucial. On the following turn, I actually calculated that I'll be able to go for a play rough here as he belly drums up and eat his Super Berry, and put him in range of my Technician boosted Bullet Punch coming from him on top. Also be able to set up a Reflect on the following turn because I do have that Prankster ability. That was my idea there. But he's actually Citrus. He's not Super Berry, so I was calculating Super Berry this entire time. And judging from the damage, I believe I actually knock him out the turn he goes for a belly drum. Just because it was Citrus over Super Berry. It wasn't a roll, but it wasn't a roll if he's just a standard belly drum set, because I think I do at least like 32% to him or something. So as long as I didn't miss the play rough, that was good. So yeah, that was really awesome for me that I've knocked out one of the biggest setup sweeper threat to my current team that I have remaining. So he's just gonna go into his edgy boy right here. I already know most of his edgy boy set. He probably has photon geyser for a psychic stab and knockoff and stone edge were the other two moves. I don't know what his last move can potentially be, but it's clearly at this point that he's more of a mixed support bulky set. So I'm actually gonna go into because he revealed earlier that wait, what just happened here? Hold up. Wait, I actually don't quite understand what happened here. Oh yeah, he actually got into his Dragon Knight on a free switch in, and then I don't know why he made this play that he did, but I don't know what he was expecting me to go into and got into his Necrozma. But my idea was staying with Keys is because I guarantee to live on Earthquake if it's not boosted. So I wanted to break his scale on his Dragon Knight. That's why I gone for a play rough. So, but he actually doubled out into his Necrozma. I don't know what he was expecting right there, but I was being able to get off damage on this Necrozma while hard switch out into my Nihilego, knowing that he probably won't go for a psychic move on my Klefki. So that was actually super aggressive on my part. But I actually need to be able to get into my Nihilego to be able to safely revenge kill this Necrozma. But no, he actually busted out the Moonlight on this turn. So he was actually be able to get back to a relatively healthy amount of health. So I was forced to switch again because obviously I couldn't knock out the Necrozma from the range he's at. I'm just gonna go hard into my Mega Garchomp and just be able to go for a Dragon Claw of my own. I didn't want to go for Earthquake simply because I didn't want him to, aggressively double into Dragon Knight and give him a free switch in, even though that's very unlikely. But the Dragon Claw does put him in range of my Sludge Wave coming from my Nihilego. So this is when the spike damage coming super clutch. If he didn't coming on spike, it would be a roll heavily in his favor to live the life orb boosted sludge wave. So that was really good. I'm just gonna go for it right here and get my beast boost, revealing that I am actually not choice scarf this entire time. I'm actually life orb. So he's gonna be able to go into his Dragon Knight right here. So I already know that he's not weakness policy, but I don't actually have a rock coverage move on this Dragon Knight. The reason I didn't have this, I didn't talk about it in my builder, but basically I didn't want to. Sludge Wave itself already hits the entirety of his roster, barring Nidoqueen, which I do have Psychic for. Plus, I didn't want him to get a potential weakness policy boost off my Nihilego with his Dragon Knight as I go for a Power Gem. So that was my idea. So I'm just gonna go for a Sludge Wave right here and be able to break his scale. I do get a poison, so that was actually super big. As you guys will see a little bit later, as he actually gone for a Dragon Dance. I understand the play that he made right here because that's pretty much his only chance of coming back into this game. Just be able to, knowing that he can go live any hit my Nihilego goes for and be able to get off the Dragon Dance. That was his last ditch effort pretty much. It's still not over yet for sure because right now he threatens my entire team. He can knock out the Klefki with an EQ and Nihilego with an EQ and do a lot of damage to my him on top. I'm actually gonna go hard into my him on top now that I got the poison on him because I do know that I live any hit he wants to go for. His last move is probably extreme speed, but I did talk to him after the game that he didn't have a last move. He had Outrage, Earthquake, Dragon Dance, and he didn't have a last move, I don't think. So that was really weird. I was expecting extreme speed this entire time, right? So that's what I was trying to play around. So I'm just gonna go into my him on top right here. Even though I wasn't intimidated, but I was super bulky with my set and the impish nature. With my God EV spread. I actually lived on 51%, so I might be able to live another one. I didn't bother calculating right here, but from that roll I should be able to live another one. And the poison damage is gonna kick in. I'm actually just gonna go for a technician boosted bullet punch as he goes for another earthquake of his own. Assuming his last move is extreme speed, it will actually be able to it won't do as much as earthquake anyways, so this is probably the best move he can hit me with, just earthquake, and it covers all my switch-ins anyway too. So because the fact he's poison, on the last turn here I'm actually gonna go hard into my clef key to preserve differential, knowing that there's a very low chance for him to knock me out with +1 EQ. So I was being able to win the game that way. So GG to Fury, it was definitely a very good match. He himself called GG super early, but it was definitely not an easy game for me because I had so much trouble preventing him from setting up, just finding out his set, especially that Dragon Knight and even the Necrozma too, fearing it being potentially weakness policy, and the Slurpuff as well. If he was super parry with Slurpuff, it will be a lot different that game. He will live my play rough from my keys, and I'll probably have to stack my keys to his Slurpuff to get a free switch into my him on top to be able to revenge kill it with bullet punch. But he was only citrus berry, so that makes a huge difference. And the fact that I was be able to get up to full with my clef keys leftover, which proven to be super useful this match. I was being able to preserve differential in the end, and also in the end there, I think his best play was actually go for outrage on my him on top, because it covers all my switch-ins, including the clef key. Simply because if I do go for a double into clef key, obviously outrage is not going to do any damage to me. But if I do stay in with my him on top, he's going to be able to at least claim one more kill there in the end, just to get some more differential. But I guess he didn't bother calculating the damage earthquake would have done to my clef key, and he didn't know what type of set my clef key was in the end. So yeah, the kill in the end actually gone to Nihilego because of the poison. So yeah, again, GG to Fury. It was a pleasure playing you. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the match. And the Raptors did manage to bounce back after 2 weeks of defeat, and hopefully we can keep the momentum going. Next week we'll be taking on Clutch, the coach of Kansas City Kindra. I believe that's his team name. I'm really looking forward to a match against Clutch, simply because I don't think I have the best record against him. I played him, I believe, 3 times in total, and we lost all 3 of those. And we'll see what the Raptors can do next week. So yeah, that's gonna be it from me. Admin Crow here, signing off. See you guys next time. Goodbye, technicians.